My hair's not goofy, is it? Okay.
Is mine?
No, you always look great.
Mini Meeples Unplugged.
Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Mom.
And
welcome back to Mini Meeples Unplugged. So today we are taking a look at
We're sinking.
We're Sinking. So this is from Ludimus Games. I actually picked it up at the Lucky Duck booth at PAX Unplugged. And it is designed by Joseph Frederick and illustrated by Roman Novikov.
3 to 6 players, 45 to 90 minutes, 10 plus.
All right, so let's take a look at
What's in the box?
what's in the box of We're Just Sinking, a Pirate's Dilemma. Who's picking this all up?
Not it.
Not it.
What's in the box of We're Sinking? First, we have our instructions. Then we have our game board. Then we have the ship that has all the different levels. There are 4 different levels there. Then we have all of our cards. We have our clear water cards. We have our treasure cards, our enemy cards, our breach cards, our cannon cards, and then our character items and player aids. And then over here, we have masts for the ship. This one comes with the game. This I got as a promo. Then we have our enemy sheets, our threshold sheets, and our player sheets. And then we have all of the dice. There are cannon dice and our enemy dice in this one. And then over here we have our action dials. Then we have our masts. We have our first mate scroll. Then we have our chest tokens, our enemy damage token, and then the permanent breach tokens. And that's what's in the box of We Are Sinking.
Play, 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 play.
And this is how we play We're Sinking, a Pirate's Dilemma.
So you have phases that you have to go through. There's the inspection phase, there's the threat phase, there's a task phase, and then there's basically the end phase that you finish everything up in to go on to the next round. So first off, in the inspection phase, you have to check for breaches. And then once you've done that and added any water to the water column, you will then check your water threshold. And that will tell you if you're either going to go to the threat phase or the sinking phase.
Yep.
If you make it to the threat phase, you have to first deal out what cards?
Water cards and treasure cards.
Right. And once you've done that, you then go to the threat phase, which you are rolling dice to resolve the enemy's attacks. And you could either do things like take on water, you could
fix the ship, fire a cannon, steal money.
Not in this phase.
I'm not, no. Am I?
You're going to be, you could be taking on water, you could be getting hit.
Pew pew.
Oh,
Spider.
Yeah. You just want to fight. No, so you'll resolve whatever the dice tell you to do, and then you go on to the task phase. So in the task phase, you first have a discussion with all of the people, because this is sort of a semi-cooperative game. and you are going to discuss what is needed to prevent you from sinking. And then you declare what you're going to do. And do you remember how you
dial? On the dial, there are going to be 4 things: a torch, a bucket of water, a hammer, and a money bag for stuff like that. Where fire, you can fire cannon. The hammer, you can fix the ship, or the money bag, you're plundering for treasure. And then the water bucket is basically like, we're scooping out the water, we're throwing it back.
Right. So you turn the dial to say what you're going to do. And this is done secretly because in this phase you can lie. So you could sit there, everybody said, we're going to just bucket out water. And then somebody might say, well, I'm actually going to steal treasure. So they'll turn it to the money bag, put it under the water column. So everybody thinks that they are doing that. But then you reveal them after everybody has put their dials down and see what everybody's chosen. So then you complete those tasks based on what that person has chosen. So if they're doing buckets, you pull cards out of the water column. If they've stolen treasure, that person is able to take treasure cards. If it's under the hammer or the patch, they can be fixing breaches or cannons. And if it's the torch, they are firing the cannon at the enemy and hopefully doing damage. Once that has been done, you go and you check your hand size because you can't have more than 10 cards in your hand. And then you move the first mate scroll to the next player, and they are the first mate for the next round. If it is a situation that you can't go to the threat phase and you have taken on too much water and you are in the sinking phase, basically all this is doing is you are first, what do?
You have the ship. If you're in the sinking phase, you would take out the bottom piece of the ship.
And what does the ship have in the hull?
Treasure chest.
Treasure chest. So you take the treasure chest and you move them to the patch column and or the breach column, I mean. Same as the patch line. And then you rotate the water threshold card to the next level. If there are any breach cards that are in the breach column at that point in time, you remove those and gain a permanent breach. And then you continue on to the threat phase of the game. And that's basically the whole round of we're sinking. And then you just continue on until you have either beaten the enemy or the ship has completely sunk. And then to determine the winner, it is whoever has the most treasure. The treasures cards have point values, and you are adding those up to determine who has the most. And whether you've beaten the enemy or the ship sinks, that is who wins. And that's how you play.
We're sinking, a pirate's dilemma. Drag your thoughts away from your troubles by the ears, by the heels, or any other way you can manage it. And these are our thoughts on
We're sinking, a pirate's dilemma. Do you want to go first?
You go first.
All right. So this was a game that I was super excited about. It was coming out during the conventions last fall, winter time frame. And I thought the concept was so cool. You have this little ship and it's got the different levels that as you're playing, you have to remove levels. So the ship is actually going down and sinking. But it really
disappointed you.
It did disappoint me. I don't know if it was just something that I had in my head of like, because of that sinking and trying to, I knew it was the ship could sink and we're all trying to keep the ship from sinking. But I think because it was coming out at that point in time, there wasn't a lot of information being given on the actual how to play of it, that there are aspects of it that I did not find enjoyable. So the big thing that made the game fall flat for me is the stealing.
The stealing part.
Yeah, the lying, and because you're all sitting here, you're saying what you're going to do, and then somebody lies. And most of the time, the only reason why you would really lie is to plunder the treasure. Which I get it. Pirates. They're going to steal. They're dirty scoundrels. But the problem is there are no consequences if they lie. And whoever gets the most treasure, no matter if the ship sinks or if you defeat
the boss.
If you defeat the enemy.
There you go.
Yeah, so no matter like how the game ends, it's whoever has the most treasure wins. And it doesn't have any consequences if somebody is just lying and letting the ship sink. So when the older meeples were here and we played this game, that's what my son was doing. Is he
saw, oh, you can lie this game?
Yeah.
Let's test it.
Yeah, he really took that on as like his role as being the liar. So, if you are actively trying to make sure that the ship doesn't sink and somebody is constantly lying, they're going to get all the treasure and win. So it was just one of those things that it had a lot of different aspects to it. Like, you're fighting an enemy, you're trying to keep the ship from sinking, you're stealing treasure. And it feels like they had all these really good ideas and they just threw them together and didn't really either do a lot of play testing to work out the bugs, or it was just they wanted to get it done so fast that they really didn't like work it out fully.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I know when we were, after we had played it with the older meeples, like we sat around and we actually discussed it. And my son had looked up online and saw that a lot of people felt the same way that we did, that the lying just kind of kills it for the game because
there's really no consequences.
Yeah, there's no way to win if somebody is constantly doing that and lets the ship sink. So, and the other thing is it was a lot of setup.
Took you about what, a half hour?
It was about a half hour for me to set the whole game up because you've got to put the playboard out, you've got to put the cards out, and then you're mixing together the water deck with the clear water cards, which I don't really see much usage of the clear water cards because it's still a water card. There's just no treasure on the back of it. And then you've got that. You've got the individual player cards, and there are specific cards that each player gets. So you have to like go through and find that. And if you've played before and had different players, some of those cards are mixed into the treasure deck. So it's a lot of back and forth. And then you have the different enemies with all the different dice. You've got the water thresholds depending on how many players are playing. So you have different water threshold cards for a 3-player game as opposed to a 6-player game. So there's a lot to go through in the setup alone. Mm-hmm. And then I will say, I love the inserts. There are some good molded inserts in this so that everything fits in beautifully. They all have their own place. I absolutely love that. It was just like absolutely great. But other than that, like I said, there's a lot that I think was missing from it. And it was, when it came out, there was an expansion that was also released about the same time. I think it came out like a little later. I got this at PAX. I don't think that they had the expansion, or if they did, I didn't get it because I was just, let's just get this. I don't think I would even bother buying the expansion just because of how much I disliked playing this game as it is. What about you?
I feel the same way. Like, about the no consequences, it's like, yeah, no consequences, what's the point? Because it's like, people get games because it's like, you get the consequences and the thrill from it.
Yeah, it's... Anything else? Did you like anything about the game?
I loved it because of course, the characters and the bosses and like the cards dealing out, and the ship is pretty cool though. But like,
Yeah, I mean the artwork and the characters and the enemies, those are all really cool. But again, like I said, lots of really good concepts, just not executed well.
Yeah.
So, do you have anything to add?
No, not really.
Not really. Okay. So, if you've played We're Sinking, I would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Like, do you feel the same way we do about this
yeah,
game? If
like,
you don't, tell us what you think about it.
Absolutely. And if you are enjoying our content and would like to see more,
Like,
and
comment, and subscribe.
you're tall. Why are you so tall? Stop being so tall.
Uh-oh.